It's Thursday, and welcome to The Climb, where we speak about success. And this week we are absolutely excited because we have three powerhouses in the building. So we have my good friend, Winter Zozi. I can give you a little introduction about him. Born on the 1st of July 1986 in Lusaka, Zambia, he's the founder and executive director of the Self Group of companies, Horizon Laboratories, Hozit, powered by Amazon Web Services, and Zozi Farming Logistics. So today he hijacked the interview and he brought his partners along. So we have Ndu Moyo, he's a business analyst and he heads up the marketing at the Self Group of companies. And we have Bernard, who is an electric engineer and he does the operations at the Self Group of companies. Welcome guys to the show.
Thank you very much, Mr. Augustine, and thank you very much to all the listeners.
All right, great guys. So, you have built up an amazing company, and on the climb, we like to be open and honest about, the journey. Because sometimes you look at Instagram and we look at TikTok and we see people, oh my God, they're on the yacht, oh my God, they're in a mansion, oh my God, they're driving the Ferrari and stuff like that. But how did it all start? So let's start there. Winter, I think you can take this question. How did it start? When you were a young boy in Zambia, I have so many questions for you, but take me through a little bit of your childhood before you came to SA.
All right. So basically in Zambia, I'll start from when I was young. I've always been a business person at heart.
Okay.
So everywhere I went, I had to do some form of business. I remember, I think I was around 12 years old, and I bought my first video game. And I got a guy that was making the other kids to pay so they can play the video game. When I had my first bike, I started renting out my bike to all the other kids. So I've always been a business person.
Entrepreneur.
Yes.
All right, great. And then how did you transition from, just lending out a game and monetizing what you actually had in Zambia, or did you move to SA first and start making money?
All right, so after I finished my secondary education, that's when I moved to SA, and then I did my tertiary from SA. I studied information technology, and then I got a job as an IT technician, just like most normal people.
All right.
So after that, I was doing very well. I got promoted like every second year, and I knew it that next year I'm getting promoted.
So you had that hunger in you from
childhood.
From everything that you touched.
Yes. I just wanted to succeed until I got to a point whereby I saw that going the corporate way was not my thing if I really want to succeed. So I said I have to do something that is extremely different.
And as a child, right? Who was your inspiration? Like, did your mom do entrepreneurship? Did your dad do entrepreneurship? Like, where did the form of, because being an entrepreneur, you're doing for someone, in return you're getting payment, right?
That's true.
So who taught you that? Where did you learn that from?
Okay, my dad was not an entrepreneur at first. My dad worked for the government. He was a civil servant. And then he moved to SA to come and study. After I finished his studies, decided to settle down in SA and continue with formal employment. And then after that, he decided to venture into business in the medical space.
Oh, so your dad is the person that said, hey, listen, let me jump the corporate ship or the normal way of people doing things.
Correct.
And then that kind of paved the way for you.
That's correct, yes. So after I moved to Joburg. So I initially started my career in Rustenburg, and then I moved to Joburg. I went through the corporate radar, and then I saw that there is no life. It was just like going round in circles. You knew exactly when your money is going to get finished every single month. So it was like the same thing. And I don't like playing boring games whereby you know that the money is going to run out on the 15th. To a point that I decided to say, okay, it's cool, let me buy myself an expensive car, because I know either ways, whether I buy the car or not, the money is still going to run out on the 15th. Until I said, okay, cool, now I have the car, the money is still running out. There must be something new or something different that I have to do. So one day I sat down with my colleagues to say, guys, I'm gonna leave. And I was at the peak of my career, whereby everybody was saying that I'm the man.
So at that point,
Yeah.
what was your position in the company?
Okay, I was heading the IT department at our head office. I used to work for one of the big mining giants, top 5.
Sure. So you were the manager of the entire IT department.
That's correct. I was just below the guy that was managing the whole of Africa.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So to leave all of that up and then to go into not 8 to 5, entrepreneurship is
24/7.
24/7, right? When you took that leap, how old were you then?
Jeez, I never really keep track of my age, to be honest with you, Mr. Augustine. But that is 8 years ago. Yeah. It was some 8 years ago when I took the madman's decision.
Just to let's go for it.
Let everything go and start afresh.
So what was your first company that you started?
My first company had no name, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It was just hustle. I was hustling whereby I would buy cars that were in accidents and fix them up and sell them.
So nothing related to IT?
No, because I was IT was boring during that time because I had enough of IT. I was looking to do something that is different.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you sold the cars and then at what point did you start Self Group of companies or one of the companies that I mentioned?
Okay, after I sold the cars and I saw that I'm selling cars at a loss because I really never knew much about cars. I didn't even know where you have to buy the parts if you're fixing a car that you have to resell.
I know most entrepreneurs, they're like, okay, cool. Chris is selling cars. He's making money. I'm going to sell cars.
You see?
Okay, Chris is doing websites. Okay, I want to make money, so let me do that. So I'm sure that's what happened to you.
That's correct, yes.
But then you got zoned in, and this is such an important point, is go back to your core.
That's true.
Go back to your focus. Go back to what you know and what you love and what you've been trained in. So you went back to your core.
That's correct.
Self Group of companies.
That's correct.
Okay, great. And then how did that start?
Well, it started very well because I was very passionate about business and I had the drive. I had the hunger to succeed. So what I did is I said, okay, cool. I honestly can't sell cars. And
it's not for me.
It's not for me.
Done.
And I only got to find out that you don't really have to buy parts from the dealership. You have to buy from the street if you have to make a profit. But it was too late because I was selling cars at a loss.
You were buying parts from the dealership, from the OEM.
I tell you, that's how bad it was.
Anyway.
So I sat down one day with myself. I said, okay, cool. I have tried something different outside of IT and I drowned.
But you know what, going back to that point, always, never a failure, always a lesson.
True.
So I mean, if you had to open it now, you would be successful because you would have learned so much of lessons from when you failed.
It's too much work, Mr. Augustine. I wouldn't want to go back there. Every day you're walking around with parts in your hands, you've got grease in your
and
fingers.
managing that entire
Imagine
process.
that.
But I mean, the point that I'm making is that everything in life, even if it's a failure,
that's true.
You've learned.
We learn.
You learn and you grow and you move.
That's very true.
Right? Okay, cool. So Self Group of Companies was born. What was the first service you actually launched with? And I'm going to get to you guys just now. So what was the first service that you actually launched at Self Group of Companies to say, listen, this is me, I'm putting myself out there. What were you known for?
All right. So basically, when I started my IT journey, I used to be an IT technician. And it was very exciting because I used to meet new people like on a daily basis within the organization. From anyone that used a computer, I used to go and assist them to the CEOs.
Sure.
So now I sat down, I said, I'm trying to sell cars, my life is boring, and I won't settle down and allow my life to be a joke. So I decided to go back to the basics. Let me be an IT technician. Let me meet new people and build contacts. So when Self Group of Companies started, I started running around myself. I used to drive around, look for clients, and until I started having clients, meeting people face to face.
So this was 8 years ago.
That's correct, yes.
So I mean, you still had access to Facebook because Facebook is like 10, 12, somewhat years old.
That's correct.
So there's still Facebook. There was still some sort of internet. It wasn't like, like 20 years ago.
That's true.
There was no yellow pages or things like you had to sift through. So you still had the power of the internet to help you, right?
That's correct. But I never really used it to my advantage.
Old school, jump in your car, drive around, set up meeting, face to face, sign the deal.
Correct.
Okay, great. So can you tell me about the first day that you're like, listen guys, this is my invoice and I've got the smiley face notification. I got paid.
Mr. Augustine, I was in a recovery mode. After I sold cars at a loss and my finances were going down, and now it was about survival of the fittest. So basically, if you came through and you wanted my services, we would wait until the payment is done. Then we move to the next client.
Okay.
So it became exciting, whereby finally I'm starting to see
Some
that
sort of...
I don't have to wait until I don't know when somebody's gonna buy a car. It became a situation whereby I provide a service now, I get paid, I move. And it was easy now for me to scale my business.
And plus you're working with something that you know.
That's correct.
And you love.
See, I never had to work because it was fun for me.
There's passion. There's passion.
Yeah.
So now the business is growing, the business is thriving. When does... Because I know you're married.
Yeah.
And I know you have kids.
Yeah.
And guys, there's also this picture of this beautiful dog always in his profile.
Yeah.
So I mean, when did family and stuff started into? Because I mean, we all have families.
Yeah.
Guys, family is very expensive.
That's true.
Very expensive. I mean, when did that happen? Where you met your wife? Did it happen in Zambia? Is she South African? And how did that influence like your business? Because you're hungry, you're working all the time, right? Because sometimes to balance entrepreneurship and to balance personal life and to balance being a dad and you know, it becomes like, which do I prioritize? So when did family happen and dating happen?
Okay. So I met my wife when I think I was doing my grade 12.
Oh, so you met her in Zambia?
Yes.
Right,
yes.
great.
And my wife and my younger sister, they are still friends, and they were friends back then before she became my wife.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was time. It was
So
a
your
time.
sister was like, you took my best friend away.
I'm telling you, it was a time before WhatsApp. So my sister wrote a letter to me and gave it to my wife now. And then I saw her, then I was like, bang, this should be my wife. And now she is my wife.
That's incredible. How
So-
many years are we celebrating, guys?
Jeez. I've known my wife, I think it's over 20 years, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a long time. Aren't you giving your age away? Okay, great. So
Yeah.
you married, you got the company,
Correct.
and now it becomes too much for you to handle.
Yeah,
Do steps in, burnout steps in.
yeah,
So at what point of the company do you say, because I know your company is your baby.
that's true.
You know, as an entrepreneur, everything that I do, all of my companies, like I feel like they're my little baby. You know,
That's true.
like if you hand it over to someone, it's like you truly love them and trust them, and you know they'll take care of your business the same way, or even
Yeah.
better than you would.
Yeah.
So I mean, at what point did you say, or who entered the business first?
Okay. So firstly, in terms of how Mr. Moyo and Mr. Mberewere came into the business, like it gets to a point whereby you need your special forces
Yes.
in a business.
The Avengers have arrived.
That's the thing.
Yes.
So obviously, there's a few people that I tried to work with, and obviously they were not really for me.
Yes.
And the moment I saw Mr. Moyo, Mr. Mberewere, I knew that these ones would make the best special forces.
So what
And,
key components
yeah.
or attributes do they have that said, this is my A team?
Okay. So if I have to give that away, you're gonna take my A team from me.
Guys, just send me the numbers.
All right. So the main thing for me is the passion and the drive. We need to have the same heartbeat.
Yes.
All of us.
I love that.
Currently,
I
as
love
it
that.
stands now, we can just say, guys, there's a deal in Cape Town. We're gonna take a drive right now.
Done.
Done. There's no one that is gonna say, my wife, my kid. We'll think about the wife and the kid when we're halfway. That's when we
I
say,
hope the
oh,
wife and
jeez.
kid is not listening.
No, they don't have to listen, but they know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you're doing it for them.
I'm telling you.
It's not like you're doing it for, I mean, you're doing it for your family. You're doing it for, I mean, apart from passion, I mean,
Yeah.
you're working for your family to give them a better life.
That's very true. Because remember, there's certain sacrifices
You
that
have to take.
separates you from other business people. There's other things that you have to give up. Honestly, when it comes to work-life balance, then you have to choose. I mean, do I sit down at home every day from 5 p.m. and be with the family, or do I go out, meet exciting people that are going to help me propel me to the next chapter
and change the narrative?
You see?
100%. No, I love it. I
Yep.
love it. So, Mr. Moyo, we're going to take a break in the next maybe 5 minutes. So I would just like a small introduction from you, and then a small introduction from Bernard. So, you go.
Okay, so where do I start? My background, corporate-wise, I was in the banking sector. I worked for the first 3 years of my corporate life. I worked for Standard Bank. Then I moved to FNB. But after a while working for FNB, I realized that I really can't stand being confined. You understand? And that's when I decided to quit corporate. But I mean, during the course of my journey in the corporate space, I had already started running my own stuff using the company resources. You understand? So at the time when I decided to quit, I was running a very successful construction company, doing renovations. And
So it wasn't like you were competing with the bank.
No.
It was construction.
I was doing logistics, commodity, and there was a whole lot of stuff that I was doing.
Okay, I mean, so I get the passion. I can see the passion, Winter. And Bernard, what about you?
Thank you so much, Chris, for hosting us this afternoon.
Absolute pleasure.
Well, my journey is a bit exciting, and how I met these gents next to me. I'm a Debonite through and through. And how I came to Joburg, we could speak of the same language. And I came to Joburg 2015. I was in the corporate world in one of the big companies in the country. Then I decided to leave for the sake of finding myself. Not for any other reasons, but to see myself on the other ladder. How exciting it is that you are self-driven and have a passion of wanting to see yourself do better than reporting every day to someone. And, you know, I joined someone I would call a friend on this company in the IT space. It was one of the big IT companies in KZN, at a director role. And we had projects we were doing in KZN coming up here, then in Joburg. That's how I came to meet Winter. It was in the corporate world, which we shall share, but we don't want to share the names of these companies for the sake of it. When I met him, I realized that we were both young, growing black guys in the professional space, and we shared the same ideal, of which I would encourage even all the listeners of saying, any child out there, you have the passion, you have the potential, you have the drive. Don't be limited to certain circumstances. And this is where we are as the three of us, trying to make sure that we still find that space of flying out in that zone. And it comes with a lot of some challenges, but you have to wake up the following morning with another bigger. So Ben comes from that electrical engineering space and IT space, a lot of professional character. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, guys. It's such an incredible energy actually in studio today, because I can feel the passion. I can also feel like the drive to get to the next level. And, you know, just to add to what you said, if there's no space, we create the space.
That's true.
So more with your host, Christopher Augustine, when we get back with The Climb. And welcome back to The Climb. And we have our special guests, Winter, Ndu, and Bernard in studio. Guys, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
One thing that I forgot to mention to our listeners is that we have a WhatsApp hotline, and you can send through your numbers. You can send through your questions that you have. The number is 068 632 0786, and you can ask our guests anything that you'd like to ask them about entrepreneurship or something that that's completely personal to you, and I'm sure our guests will be more than delighted to answer them. So guys, how is the show so far?
It's going good.
It's going good. You guys are enjoying the ambience, you guys are enjoying the music, you guys are enjoying Bogart hosting you.
we're definitely enjoying everything. The hype up here, it's the
different
energy
hype.
is different.
It's a different hype,
Yeah.
right? You guys gonna buy some NFTs?
Definitely. And thanks to Bogart Radio for hosting us. Thanks, Mr. Augustine.
You guys are most welcome to be here, and this should not be your last visit, right, to the Climb. Because I think that ladder for you, I've just seen it extend so far. I think the next time you come here, you'll be like, guys, I'm owning a percentage of Amazon. Okay, great. So we know we've spoken about subgroup of companies, you guys working together. So in terms of your personal life and things like that, and let's focus mostly on self-group of companies, right? Because we have three of you, and I want this to be a very interactive talk between us. So in terms of self-group, what was the most painful failure that the company has experienced, maybe singularly or as a team, and you guys were like, what do we do now? So what did that feel like? What experience was that like? Or did that ever happen where you experienced a failure and you had to hit the reset button?
Okay. For me, I would say, remember when I started self-group of companies, I said, okay, my dad is already into the business space now. So rather let me have my dad as one of the directors in the organization.
Okay.
So that at least I need someone that can hold me accountable and make sure that I'm always in check. And then my dad was like my number one supporter, and he just made sure that everything was going well. Because there were some times whereby I would feel like today I don't even want to wake up. I don't even want to go anywhere. And my dad had access to my tracking device, and he would ask me around 11 o'clock, like, why are you not going anywhere today? And I would lie sometimes, say I don't have petrol. Then he would send me money to say, okay, here is petrol money. Then I'll be forced to say, okay, geez, I need to be on the street. So the biggest failure, or I think it was the loss,
The tragedy.
the tragedy where when I lost my dad.
Sure.
Because my dad was the chairman of the company.
Everything.
And
Pushing you
and he knew the struggles of running your own business, and he had hope more than me.
And how long ago did your dad pass? And my condolences about that.
It's all right, Mr. Augustine. It happened a year, almost 2 years now.
Okay, so it's not like it happened like a long time. I mean, it just happened recently.
Yes, it did.
So I mean, obviously it took you in a spiral, right? Because you're an entrepreneur, and I experienced loss. I mean, you asked me a while back, what happened to you? Why weren't you in a good mood?
Yeah.
I lost my granddad about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you so fresh in grief and so fresh in loss, it took me a while. Like, I don't know if it's a while, but I mean, I took about 2.5 weeks to be how I am today.
Yes.
So how long did it take you to actually process that grief and say, listen, my dad would have wanted me to be successful and I need to do more?
All right. For me, I took it like, okay, I have to do what my dad would have loved seeing me doing. Instead of just sitting around and crying the whole time, I decided to say, okay, good. What I'm going to do is, okay, it has happened. I mean, there's nothing that any man can do.
It's done. Yeah.
But the only thing is, where do I head from here? How do I move forward? Now I need to be the CEO, I need to be the chairman. Obviously the chairman is gone. And I had to say, all right, I just have to be strong. It's a part of life. All of us are going through the same journey. At one point, we don't know. So I just said, all right, it has happened, and I just have to soldier on. And thankfully, I have a very supportive family, and also my special forces, Mr. Moyo and Mr. Mberewere. They really helped when the tragedy happened, to a degree whereby I was great. I am still grateful to everyone that really saw me through during that hard time.
Yes.
So I had to stand strong for my dad, because obviously that's what he would have wanted, because he really wanted to see the business succeed.
And I'm sure like he would be so proud of what you guys have achieved. From the time of losing your dad till now, how has the progress of the company been? Has it ignited like to a point of where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this came out of me?
Definitely, the business is moving forward every single minute, every single day. We changed a number of strategies from the time when my dad passed on. So obviously, a lot has changed in the business, and we are focused more on positioning ourselves for new prospects and new opportunities. And as a team with my special forces, we really have a keen eye in terms of identifying opportunities. So now we are just in the process of really positioning ourselves, and also we had to like let go of a number of people because we had so many people in our teams, but most of them never really brought any value. And
So you had to clean up shop.
There's people that were so lame such that they can't walk and chew gum at the same time. So we had to let go of those people. And now we restructured everything. I mean, every single component that is in the business right now. It's people that have got like serious potential.
They've got that drive.
People that have got the drive. I mean, I don't have to phone you. You need to know exactly what needs to be done.
They know what it is.
You see, that's where we are now. And with the positioning that we are currently in, it's very easy for us to reach Elon Musk's levels. I mean,
come on now. So I mean, Winter, like, thank you so much for being so vulnerable and sharing about that, you know, on air. It's not easy to be that vulnerable in front of so many people. But I mean, and that's my point. Like, people just think, let me leave my 8 to 5. Let me leave my safety net and become an entrepreneur. But when you're an entrepreneur, there's no, what do they call it when you're grieving and you take leave?
I
don't even know.
Geez, it's been a while since we worked for someone. Compassionate leave, I guess.
Compassionate leave. And then there's maternity leave. And then there's sick leave.
Jeez.
Guys, okay, being an entrepreneur. I think, Mdu, you take that one. You tell me about being an entrepreneur.
Look, thank you so much, Mr. Augustine. Being an entrepreneur is not an easy thing. You know, it's unlike somebody that is formally employed, where you know that your salary is guaranteed. Being an entrepreneur, you're a business person 24/7. You understand? There's no moment that is left to chance. You don't leave things to chance. You know, each and every moment of your time counts. You understand? So I think we're having some feedback here. There's no moment given to chance. So we push ourselves. My goodness.
Sorry about that, guys. You just had some technical issues. You were saying?
It's a journey, but it's a journey that needs heart, perseverance, accountability, responsibility. I can, you know, start rhyming all kinds of words here.
And all of that is very good and all, but what keeps you going? What lights your fire? What keeps you passionate every single day?
You build capacity, capacity for success. The hunger.
I love that.
The hunger for success, the hunger to make it. You understand? And also understanding that if I sit and don't do anything, you know,
I'm not getting paid.
I'm not getting paid. Bills are not paid. You understand? You know, the wife and the kids are looking at me to say, okay, well, what's happening here? You understand? And I can't give excuses. You understand? We need to make sure that, you know, the balance sheet in the business is healthy. You understand? And as such, we are forced to work the way we work. I mean, as mentioned earlier on, that, you know, sometimes I remember there's a trip that we took to Botswana. I think was it about a month ago. We just sit and say, no, we need to go to Botswana. There's something we need to go and do there. It was late afternoon. We decided we are going to Botswana.
That's it.
We make decisions on our feet.
On the fly.
You understand? That's how it is. So when you are building like that, you know, you need to be surrounded by people that really understand the burning passion.
They have, and I'm taking back to your point, they have the capacity for success.
True that.
Because sometimes success doesn't just look like a Bentley.
True.
It looks like a trip to Botswana, just like that.
Yes.
Right? So in terms of, okay, I can hear you mentioning some African countries, and Bernard, I'll have you answer this. How many countries are you guys currently servicing?
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Augustine. Once again, we are a number of countries that include Botswana and Lesotho, and precisely the niche of the business here in South Africa, and Zambia as well. We're planning to expand the view of the business. And what's more amazing to the question you have just been giving us is that an entrepreneurship comes with a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah.
Now, to those who are family people out there, entrepreneurship is more like becoming a parent. That comes with responsibility and a lot of pain. But it also comes with the joy of knowing what are you there for. So entrepreneurship, be it at any level, the smallest or the highest level, it comes with the responsibility of knowing I'm here for a purpose. So the purpose is that what must drive you. And you know, being employed is to service, is to do 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
But entrepreneurship is to make sure that you give an assurance to the next person. You know, CEOs might tell you, like Mr. Zozi, at the end of the month, every employee looks up to you, a salary has to come through.
Has to come through.
People are looking up to you.
Yeah.
Even as much as like, wow, the budget of almost $1 million is going to salaries. But the ability of having a responsibility over someone must also give you a drive to wake up in the morning. The capacity Mr. Moyo spoke about. Yeah,
so as an entrepreneur, you're not just like, money's going to me and hey, I'm going to Louis Vuitton now. It's like, listen, the money comes in, there's rent, not just for myself, there's for the offices, there's lights, there's water, there's my staff.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden your staff comes to you and says, hey, listen, I don't have medical aid and my child broke his leg. You're his good friend. There's another 10,000 gone. So in terms of, and you can take this one as well, in terms of entrepreneurship, what drives you?
Well, what drives us as a self-group of companies is our desire and the hope to see ourselves mingling with all the giants, number one, and also building ourselves a reason to serve the society. The society is speaking about, it could be in the IT space, in the medical space. And as you said, Ms. Augustine, correctly, that beyond the development of thyself, you need to have someone who looks up to you, because there's a social responsibility in business.
Yeah.
Of saying, someone says, I'm waiting for my boss to pay me. You're not only obliging to paying them a salary, but to help the next person have a purpose of living. So what drives us is to make sure that we play a part in the business sector, and also as a social or ethical responsibility of making sure that the streets are fed, people are there, they are helped to professionally grow. People grow at work as long as they are in the right stream. So this is what drives us, and also to save the economic part of the country. Remember, we have an obligation to make sure that we play our part to make sure the country is saved through institutions like SARS. That's part of us.
Absolutely, and I love the way you answered that. In fact, I was listening to a podcast this week, and they said, you don't make money. You don't create money, you take money. So take me through the taking of your money. What service do you provide and you take other people? You're actually taking money. So I think there's a game here that we're actually playing. Who can take more money, right?
Yes.
So I mean, if you're a billionaire, you kind of told so many people, give me your money and I'll give you that. So that becomes more valuable than the money. They actually partner with their money. So what does self-group of companies actually do that allows people to give you their money?
Well, we serve a lot of number of areas, including your IT consulting, in the space of IT consulting, your software, your hardware, provision, and we also do IT projects management, which basically we are doing an overall of technological development. That's what we provide.
Okay.
We provide a service of technology to the society, of which technology has allowed the current generation to evolve. So technology, I think, is the tomorrow, the now, probably the future. We don't know how it's going to be, but we have been part of that society of trying to help the society or the world to be integrated. So when we provide these services, obviously, we will say, for this fee, we would like you to pay us this amount for you to be helped to get from point A to point B without a lot of work and hustling. So that's where we are.
So you guys are problem solvers. So I come to you and say, listen, I need to build an app, or I need to make sure that this mine becomes automated or something like that. So you'll try and figure out what's the best possible way to have hardware and software talk to each other to make this dream a reality. And you handle the operations of that, and Mr. Mdu, you do the marketing as well of that. So guys, we're going to take a short break and listen to some cool jams this Thursday afternoon. And when we're back, we're going to go ahead and listen to the final segment of the climb. So please send through your questions on the WhatsApp line, and I will catch you just now. And welcome back to The Climb with your host, Christopher Augustine. That was Childish Gambino with Feels Like Summer. And this is the last segment of The Climb, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper with our amazing guests. So guys, we are here, we've got the self-group of companies, we're managing the family. Where to from here? What's the next step? What's the next scope for the self-group of companies? I mean, you are three very mindful, very intelligent, very suave. I mean, we were speaking in the break, and you were like, we change. You know, if we need to be a chameleon, we change to any sort of environment. And that's how entrepreneurship should be. You know, when you're in a room full of bankers, you become a banker. When you're in a room full of marketers, you become a marketer. And you're always searching for opportunity. So my question is, gentlemen, what is the next opportunity for you as a group? And I'll let the CEO, the boss and CEO.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Augustine.
Yes.
So basically, from now on, we're going up, and that's the only direction that we're heading. It's going up. So what we are looking at in the near future is to scale up our business, just like my colleague Mr. Mberewere has mentioned, is to get into all the other African countries. Because basically what we are trying to do is we seeing ourselves one day being a listed company. So
that is an amazing.
Yes, and it definitely takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of focus, and so it's just to scale up.
So I mean, in being listed, I mean, you have to start somewhere. So I'm young, I just finished school, or I'm sitting in an 8-to-5 job, I'm getting frustrated, I've got the fire in me. I want to open up something. I want to start a business. I don't know who wants to take this question.
Okay.
How do I start? I don't know where to go. I don't know how to even register, because I mean, to be listed, you need compliance. To start, you need compliance. So if I want to start a business, how do I go about starting a business from scratch?
Okay. Firstly, before you even get to think about starting a business, because most of the times it looks like it's all roses when you see somebody running the business. Of course, most of the people that are running business, they don't really share
the hardship
that goes into running a business. There's times whereby you wake up but you feel like you don't want to wake up, and there are times whereby things are very, very tough.
Yeah.
And you've got like 1 million people that are looking up to you, and you being a soldier, you being a Jagaban, the head of the forces, it becomes so hard to just let everybody down.
Yeah.
So first things first, before you even think about opening a business, you need to first position your heart to say, am I ready to take different types of challenges? We don't want people opening a business, the next 2 days they abandon the business. Because most of the times when you open a business, it doesn't necessarily mean that within the first few months you're going to start seeing money's coming, profits. It becomes hard. Sometimes it will take you years before you see your first client paying you 500 rand.
Yeah.
I mean, so you need first to put your mind in the right position. And then after you have done that, you say, geez, this is the thing that I want to do. Then you register a business. Or you can register a business and think about everything. Do I really want to do this? It doesn't really take much.
So would you say this might be a safer option? So I'm still in my 8-to-5 job, but after 5 I'm free. And I only start at 8. Because me as an entrepreneur, I wake up at 4 every day. So 4 o'clock till 8 o'clock, I've already lived a lifetime. Like I've already done things. I've worked a full day. So I mean, as an entrepreneur, would you suggest maybe trying it out? I mean, you did that. I mean, you still worked at the bank, right? And then you had your side hustle, you know, and only when that took off and that was successful, you already kind of understood the challenges, you understood what it takes, and then you're like, now I'm taking the leap. Is that an option that, I mean, that is a safer option, or like what would you say is, I know it's not a cookie cutter for everyone, it's different, right? But I mean, what worked for you?
To be quite honest, when I resigned, none of my side hustles were making money.
Wow, okay.
Do you understand? Given an opportunity, I would have done it a bit differently.
Okay.
In the sense that at least when you still have that cushion of guaranteed salary on a monthly basis.
So there's still a net there. You're not truly fighting.
I beg your pardon?
There's still a net of income.
Yeah, well,
and so you're not like really like, okay, cool, let's go for it.
You don't understand? But then again, when I flip the other side of the coin, I would have still done it the way I did it. You understand? Because at the end of the day, you know, when you have the hunger, the passion, you understand, irrespective of the challenges that you encounter on the way, you understand. For me, it got to a point where I said, no, you know what, I'm not going to go back to corporate. You understand? Failure is not an option.
Yeah.
You understand? As you say that, as an entrepreneur, you wake up earlier than any other person. You understand? And you stay up till late.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's very fun that, you know, when he checks, I'm online around 3 in the morning. You understand? And this is just, what are you doing up? You understand? The mind is working tirelessly. You are thinking about the strategy. You are thinking about that project. You understand? By the time everybody wakes up, you've already strategized for the day. You know what it is.
You know what's happening.
You understand? You hit the ground running. You understand? Unlike somebody that is waking up and trying to catch up with you that woke up earlier in the day. You understand? So it's that type of situations where you deprive yourself the luxury of sleep. Sleep for some of us is a luxury. You understand? We don't have that luxury of sleep.
And there's many sacrifices as an entrepreneur that you have to take in order to, because when things get, I mean, we are speaking, I would say on the other side of entrepreneurship, because I mean that's what the show is about, to showcase that. But I've seen your pictures on WhatsApp. I've seen Dubai. I've seen the places that you go to. I've seen the cars that you guys drive. I've seen the opulent lifestyle. So guys, we don't want to scare you about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
But it's not for everyone, you know.
It's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted. And like Winter said as well, I mean, you have to prepare your heart and position your heart for that. But the truth is, in life, I can tell you, listen, if you jump off that high board, it's gonna prepare. But only once you actually jump off the high board will you feel the full might of it. Okay, great. And any wise words of like entrepreneurship? So we know about the preparation of your heart. We know about, you have to sacrifice things. Any wise words from you, Bernard?
Thank you, Chris. You know, as you said prior to this, is that we're not only looking at on the hard part of being an entrepreneurship. I think we're overstating it.
Yeah.
There is also benefits of being yourself when you're an entrepreneur. I'll give you an example. You work so hard, as Mr. Mdu has said. You wake up at 1 a.m., you've got some targets, with some meetings you're aligning with. At the same time, when that 8 to 5 person is waking up to go and make sure she's in office or he's in office at 8 o'clock, you could say, I'm taking a nap. I want to relax at 10 a.m. So there are both sides of the coin we have to look into. But before we go at that stage, there's one point we need to look into. Firstly, if you are someone aspiring to be in entrepreneurship, there are two types of people. This is like an army. We've got general soldiers, then we've got special forces. Right. Now, an entrepreneur-aspired person cannot be an employee-minded person. There are two types of people in the society. There's someone who's comfortable to be an employee 8 to 5. Saturday and Sunday, they don't touch their laptops, they're not going to answer a call. And they're comfortable with that lifestyle. Remember, we don't want to bring a notion to say everyone out there who's employed can be a business person. So you have to speak to yourself. Am I meant to be an employee person for my life, or am I meant to be a self-making decision person? Then if you see where you belong, then you say, okay, I like to make decisions for myself. I like money. I like to serve the society. I like to create business opportunities for other people. Then you know that you belong to the entrepreneurship. Then you have to see the effects of the hardships that comes with it. And the practical merit of being an entrepreneur is that the first years are never easy.
It's never easy.
For everyone, it's never easy. You meet people that give you wrong deals. You meet people that lie to you. You meet people that create hopes to you. You meet people who are honest with you, that give an opportunity. And first, you might mess up even the opportunity yourself.
Yeah.
To realize that, oh, I made a mistake. Only if I had kept that 500,000 invoice I was paid by so and so, I would have been somewhere. And from that mistake, you have to learn from that step.
Yeah.
So all these are channels you either learn by self, and you have to meet the right people. It's one thing to aspire to be in entrepreneurship. It's another thing to make fine decisions. We don't say everyone has made fine decisions in doing so. But when you make a mistake, rectify it, don't repeat it, move to the next stage, and take opportunities and chances as they come, but with so much refined decisions upon it. Don't delay on it. Thank you so much.
I love that.
Just to add on what Mr. Bennett said, it's all about adapting. Do you understand? Because when you enter the space, you can't afford to be rigid.
Yeah.
You understand? Because somewhere down the line, you get to discover that maybe the one line of business that you're pushing is no longer is actually become redundant in the market.
Nobody needs it anymore.
Do you understand? So at that point in time, you need to adapt to the situations, to the circumstances, and to what the market is actually looking for, and quickly make a decision to say, okay, this is the new direction that I'm taking. You understand? Whereas a lot of people actually fail to adapt. You understand? We look at the COVID situations. There's a lot of business that have actually gone off the market. A lot of those that have actually shut down. Why? Because people fail to adapt in that particular season.
100%.
You understand? So if you are in this particular space, if thinking on your toes is not part of you, you need to start working on that as an individual to say, okay, if I'm forced into a situation, if I'm forced to, how do I deal with it?
How do I deal with it? How do I process it? How do I overcome it? So
Definitely.
What I'm hearing now is definitely like positioning your heart, making sure that you're ready for the challenges. You're not going to get your full-time sleep. You're not going to get your weekends. Your phone becomes, it's not like, how do you get my number? It's like, how can I help you? And making sure that every single problem is solved, because in the entrepreneurship world, it's such a small circle. So if you go ahead and mess up every place, and people are paying you to mess up, that's what you become known for. And then nobody wants to work with you. So there's a saying that I also go by, is like, every single piece of work that you do, you must do it as if it's the last piece of work that you're going to do. So you do it to the best of your capability. So we were all about talking about the actual compliance. We're talking about you being listed. So now your heart is right. You understand what entrepreneurship is. You've resigned from your job. You don't have the bank anymore, right? There's no safety net. There's no salary coming in. How do you start?
Okay. So firstly, before you even talk about wanting to list in the near future.
No, not the list. I'm talking about starting your business from scratch. So like registering your CK and stuff like that. How do you actually start a business? Okay, so
first you pick a name. What do you want your business to be? I think it's like 3 names that you have to submit to CIPC. The time when I was registering my business, it was that time whereby we had to walk in at CIPC and get the registration done. But now you can do it online.
I don't even know where CIPC is.
They were in Pretoria. I don't know if they moved. But now you do it online. So you do everything online.
I know there's a new portal, BizPortal.
Yes.
.co.za.gov.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. So you register there, you submit your names, and you submit copies of your ID, and within a day you get a business registered.
Okay, cool. And how expensive is it to open up a business, or do you need any sort of capital to start a business, or you register your company and off you go?
Okay, so to register a business, I think it was less than 200 Rand from the last time I checked. And then if you need working capital for you to run your business, most of the times it happens that your business will pick up after you have run out of all the working capital that you had. Because most of the time we try to feel like we are in control. In the next 6 months, I've got 500K, and before it runs out, I'll make $1 million.
Yeah.
But truth be told, you'll be negative And that's when you even get to work hard.
Yeah.
Because obviously, when you have your working capital, if you have to drive to Cape Town, you look at your 500k in the account, you say, I don't have to go. But now, if you see that you're in negative, that's exactly when you get to work. So it depends. If you want to go with working capital, yes, of course, it's up to you. But honestly, most of the times you start doing business once you have run out of cash.
So there's a lot of entrepreneurs, young people that's tuned into the show.
Yeah.
As a self-group of companies, what enablement or what program or initiative do you have, or services that you have that you could possibly offer them to fast-track their business? Because we know we're living in a digital age. Everything is a click away. Everything is a search away. So is there anything, because I mean, you guys are tech, right? You guys are software, you guys, that is what you do. Is there anything that you have positioned for, when you first started to give back?
Yeah, of course. So basically what we are trying to do with mostly young people that want to venture into business, mostly are young people that are coming from previously disadvantaged backgrounds. So we have one of our services, which is domain registrations, which enables you to have like a proper professional image when it comes to your emails and having a website. So we run the whole show from registering of your domain, getting your emails hosted, and also just making sure that your business has got a digital presence, whereby we help you with search engine optimization, to just make sure that your business can be found on Google. Because most people, they make a mistake whereby they will try to do the right thing, but sometimes you don't even know what is the right thing. You register your business, quite all right, but now how do you get people to find you? Because you need to make sure that you can be found by everyone, not just your relatives that know about your business. You need to do business with people that are from everywhere. I mean, across the globe.
100%.
If it may be.
So now, how expensive is this service? So I mean, what you're talking about, I mean, and I know a little bit about it. So domain registration is a fee. Email is a fee. SEO is a fee.
Correct.
Building a website. So people think website registration is building a website. No. Website hosting is just renting space on a server to say wherever I'm building my house or wherever I'm building my website,
correct,
I'm paying for that piece of land, or I'm
correct,
paying for that piece of space. And then to build your website is another fee. So I mean, you offering all of this, not a take a lot website now, but I mean, it's a basic website that people can find you, right?
Yeah.
So how much are you charging for this service per month?
All right. So for startups whereby you don't really have so many employees, you're just starting out. I mean, we can set you up for as little as 500 rand a month. So what you get is you get your domain, you get five email accounts, which are professional emails, by the way, and you get a website, which is a basic website. So with that, you can get
fast track your business.
And then when it comes to search engine optimization, you can add extra 1,000 rand a month, so it becomes to like 1,500. You are sorted. You are on Google. People are able to find your services, and I mean, you see, people will be able to find you, and your business will be moving forward. And you scale up. You go to other bigger packages.
And I mean, and once you have like your website, it's up to you to use that website and go to the bigger companies and say, this is the link to my website, send them emails, start pursuing new business. Because I truly know a lot of companies, as soon as they see, and I'm not downing them at all, if they see a Gmail account or a Yahoo account, they're like, what am I dealing with?
Gmail is for Nigerian prince, telling you that there's wealth that their grandmother left, so they want you to do the whole kabang. So yeah, do your professional email and do business the right way. I mean, you need to set up a professional Outlook.
No, you have to.
It just had to go there.
It's just joking.
So I mean, for example, like my main email address is like I use my Gmail is very secure, because I mean sometimes you look at like my other email addresses that I have, and the mails get stuck and this and that, but the Gmail mails always come through to that, mails always send out. So when everything else fails, I honestly turn to Gmail. However, as an introductory to send a customer business profile, you don't want to send them on a Gmail.
That's correct.
They'll be like, who am I dealing with? I mean, but once you've built up the relationship, oh my God, my servers are down, my mail is down. I've never found that Google was ever down, because Google is an amazing service provider.
There's a day when Google was down, you must check in history. No, like, honestly.
I think there was.
Yeah.
I think there was a day when Google was. There was even a day when WhatsApp was down, and I think the whole world was
true.
oh my God, I can't see the blue ticks anymore.
Yeah. I remember that day.
You guys are playing in such an amazing space where technology is actually controlling the world. I mean, people are communicating faster, quicker, easier. People are getting their foods delivered through their house with technology. Is there any project that you guys are working on internally? Because you have the resources. I mean, you've got the operations, you've got the marketing, you've got the brains, you've got everything to your disposal. Is there any tech that you are working on, that you want to launch into the African market that is solving a certain problem?
Yeah, there's quite a few products that we're working on, but the thing is, it's too early for us to mention them. Yeah. So definitely,
that's an invitation for your next show, right? when it actually is here, and then you guys can actually explain and talk about it.
Definitely.
So I mean, your business is set up, and I mean, you're doing well, and all of those things. Is there anything that you found within your business where you're like, okay, cool, it's time to hire people. It's time to trust people. It's time to and get to the level that you are at now. So I mean, when was that time? And how much revenue were you turning over when it was time to? And I know the revenue questions are difficult to ask, but I'll ask it to my friend. Right? So I mean, at what point were you hitting that turnover, and you're like, okay, cool, I'm comfortable now to pay someone else who's just like me? Or they always say you hire someone who's better than you.
Yeah.
So I mean, what turnover point were you at in your business?
Okay, so for me, when we started to scale up in terms of having more employees, it wasn't really about the turnover, because it was about like, okay, cool, I'm doing this alone and I'm able to get to this point. So what more can I achieve if I've got 10 people?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, so it was about scaling up. Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of affordability, at that point you could afford those people, or did you have agreements to say, listen, come on board, and I know what we're capable of? I mean, was it a hustle to build the team, or did the team get built on, okay, cool, I have clients paying me, so let me part with my money instead of making more money for myself because I see the bigger vision? How did it work?
So mostly it was because I saw the bigger vision, and I was looking forward to grow the business, and I needed extra hands so that I can be able to focus on more important things as a CEO of the business, whereby I need to meet new people that can help me to scale the business. So at one point I had to find extra hands that were to assist when I'm not able to do certain tasks, because I had to stay very focused now that the business is scaling up. So it was a situation whereby I can't run the whole show. I mean, yeah.
And I have a question that actually just came to mind now. How is it with your SaaS compliance and stuff? Because I know when I started a couple of my businesses, I didn't even know what SaaS was about.
Yeah.
Because the thing that school doesn't teach us is VAT. And tax, and personal tax, and provisional tax, and tax. And I mean, at some point, we have to pay it in order to have our tax PIN to submit it for tenders.
Correct.
And to the corporates, and to actually grow up in the corporate ladder, right?
Correct.
To do that climb. So, I mean, you always need to be in good standing with SaaS.
That's correct.
So, I mean, did you straight off the bat, like, oh my God, every month religiously I need to pay SaaS? Because I know I've paid penalties, a lot of penalties, and did what I needed to do, and I call it sucking out the poison. I needed to just suck out the poison and do what I needed to do in order to get to the next level. And sometimes as entrepreneurs, we've got to do what we got to do, even if it hurts us, in order to move to the next level. So in terms of that, were you geared up from day one, or was there a lesson learned there?
Okay, so for me, I had a different view when it came to SaaS. Remember, I was an employee before. So every time I heard SaaS, I knew, we are busy doing our submissions. Obviously, we are going to get some rebates. And we used to get something. So now, from a business perspective, it became different. So I was operating my business. I didn't really know anything about submitting my returns to SaaS until a time whereby I had to do tendering And then I was advised to say, okay, I need a letter of good standing. I need. Then it became a challenge, and I registered with SARS, and then I submitted for the tender, and then I forgot about SARS, and then the next project that needed
SARS never forgets about you.
You see, and then SARS came at one point,
yeah,
with full force, having so many different claims and all that. I mean, but now we're cool. We're good.
You sucked at the poison.
Yeah.
Bernard?
Just adding to that, I'm thankful to the coming of COVID. There's few lessons we learned, which our government enrolled to the society, to the public, of which probably as a plea to the government is that there must be some educational awareness to what upcoming entrepreneurs do, or the government, or giving back to the society. Well, SARS is there to keep the revenue of the country moving, so that the country is safe in terms of the economic growth. So I think if you look at how the government was so educated in terms of what is COVID, what are the preventative measures, what are the situations, but I think there should be a need for the public in general to be informed. SARS programs. When do you owe the government? What is owing SARS? Because a lot of the young people who come into business, they merely know what is to owe SARS. What is owing SARS? What is paying back the government? At what point do you say, I need to pay 15% of what I've earned the whole year to the government?
And when you're a startup entrepreneur, 15% is a lot of
It's a lot of money.
It's your profit, I mean.
It's a lot of money, right?
A lot of money. And I think when those programs are installed to the public in general, it will help a lot of confusion, a lot of problems. If you look some businesses, and we thank God for our side, some businesses, that is the beginning and the end of their business. You get a business deal, you get a tender, 2 million, next thing you fail to pay SARS, you're in trouble, you're already, then you lose hope, you've lost, you don't know, you're confused, you're in the dark, in the midst of the sea. But if someone was informed that now you're starting a business, after your first payments and this, there's money that is owed to the government. It doesn't belong to you. It's National Treasury. And all the steps of registering, getting your National Treasury number on the website to make sure all the steps are done. Besides the CIPC, there are a lot of stages one has to understand. And one thing I like about the space we are in technology is that such information can be shared with a touch of a button. Someone can scroll through and, okay, I understand what's going to happen. Because I borrow from a philosophical idea. Human beings are ever becoming. So business is always ever becoming. What CIPC used to do as a process of registration 10 years ago when we went into business is no longer the same idea.
It's changed.
But also the same concept, but ideas have changed. So as long as human beings are ever becoming, the business world is ever becoming and evolution. So technology plays a part in playing that role and also making sure that the public in general understands. So we have a plea to the government to say, we thank you for the part of what you're doing, but something must be added on to the knowledge of SARS and the young.
Because that's what we're getting penalized on. This is what's holding us back. But believe it or not, I was actually on a call with SARS a while back, and the lady was like, do you know we have free classes? We do it twice a year or 4 times a year, where we take you through the entire system of how to work with SARS. We teach you how to do your VAT returns, your tax returns, your reconciliation, your submission for free. And we teach you how to do that. But the question is, why is that not marketed?
That's true.
Why doesn't people know? Like, it was news to me that she's telling me, that's how I know about it. But I mean, I haven't posted about, it's nothing that I want to post about or announce about. So I mean, like, it doesn't go, it doesn't go viral. It's not news where people are like, oh my God, SARS is hosting a class, you know. But I mean, we had a solo conference here yesterday inside the convention center. Everyone knew about it. The place was packed. It was flooded. But I mean, you go to SARS and it's just people who are submitting and doing that, but there's no like massive queues for education.
Correct.
So I think the massive lack in the entrepreneurship sector is education and support from our government, because even from the DTI and PIC, how to get the funding, how to position yourself for the funding,
Correct.
what to do to extract that funding, you know, it's just always going around in the same circle. So I would say to our listeners and our entrepreneurs out there, definitely educate yourself. I mean, if the education is not there for you, the truth is, if you look hard enough, it's there.
That's correct.
I truly feel if you want to be educated on SARS, you will be.
Yeah.
You know, we can play the blame game all day long and say, you know, they could have, they should have, but you know, you wouldn't have gotten to this place if you didn't fight for everything that you have. Guys, we are going to round up very shortly. Is there any last words? And I'll take, you know, some last sentiments from you guys. Winter, the mic is yours.
All right. Thank you, Sir Augustine, and thank you to all the listeners that took time to listen to us all the way to the end.
Okay, great. Any last words that you'd like to say of inspiration? Give me your best one-liner.
Okay, cool. So basically, anything you can achieve it if you just put your mind to it. It doesn't matter what it is, but you have to be very prepared to go through trials and tribulations. Running a business is not a bed of roses, but you need to have a thick skin. You have people that will say so many things about you, but you just have to know the reason why you're running the business. And you need to stay very, very focused. You need to know what you want. And definitely, you'll get to Elon Musk. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Augustine. For me, I would say, you know, once you've started the business, packaging yourself and branding yourself is very important. That forms the core part of who you are as a business. So once you know what it is that you want to do, make sure very fast you package yourself very well and you brand yourself very well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Chris, from my side, I think I would say take your time to research, work hard, and be honest. These are the three models I would think for anyone aspiring to be a business person. Sit down, research very well, work hard, put extra effort that is more beyond expected, and be honest. And lastly as well, allow yourself to be adaptive. One thing we learned from the past 2 years of COVID is that the constant word that was there was change, change and change. Once you become rigid of yesteryear ideals, yes, we borrow from them, but if you belong to that always, you're going to be left out. Well, a lot of examples you can give, but work hard and be honest.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for making the effort for coming through to the studios. Thank you so much to Bogart for hosting us and giving us this platform to share the knowledge of wealth, experience, and the truth. And if you guys, again, have any questions for next week, you are more than welcome to pop it through to 068 632 0786. And I'm your host, Christopher Augustine. Have a splendid weekend and see you next week.